And welcome back, everyone. Ellington here, and we are back on Total War Rome 2, and we have got ourselves a 2 versus 2. This is on a settlement that I have not seen in quite a while. We are on the city of Cyrene. Now, the reason that Cyrene is a settlement we don't see very often is because of this bad boy right here. It has got a pretty gnarly fortress up here. Got 1, 2, 3 entrances from the interior city. And then there is a way up to the outside. There's a gate right there. But this is pretty much a death trap right here. So what we usually see on a settlement like this is this attack right here. We've got Seleucid kind of pushing towards this, port side gate with Rome. I guess Seleucid's kind of on both sides. Rome kind of going right down the middle here. We've got some tortoises here. Let's go ahead and look at some of the players and the factions. For the defenders, we have got Sparta being commanded by Didster. We've got Culus being commanded by Rumham. I think it's Rumham, but Rumham sounds more sophisticated. For the attackers, we've got Seleucid on the battlefield being commanded by a hairy hawk. Yep, that's a name. And we've got Rome being commanded by T. Maywald. Now, what's going to happen as they come into this settlement? You can see we've got the breach here. Right up the side of that breach, we've got this stairwell with Cartly Axeman sitting there throwing some jabs down into these Hastati. You can see they've taken quite a bit of losses here, but it looks like a lot of that came from out here. I believe that was from the Bastion Ballista. Over here, similar thing. We've got another Hastati coming through. Coming off of the wall, we've got some Eastern Spearmen. Basically, it looks like they're just trying to be an annoyance. I'm a little surprised they aren't trying to fight for this, because if you're going to lose the tower, you might as well just kind of fall back out of that area. You know what I mean? It's that tower's just going to sit there and shoot you, which is just free kills for the attackers. So either fight for the tower and keep it neutralized, or just walk away from it. On the left-hand side here, we've got Cartly Axeman taking on some thorax swords of Seleucid. And then, as you can see, on the far left side, we have a breach opened up by Seleucid with Royal Peltis coming in through the breach. So we got some big boys coming in early on. If I was Sparta and the Colchian player, I would be targeting those guys right there. They are very, very good in melee combat, but they really don't like javelins or archers or slingers, for that matter. So, basically, to put it to rest, you shoot them and they die. Painfully. Oh, I see Sparta here brought, I believe, the hero of Sparta, which is not the Grand Campaign Sparta. But Sparta is also the player that sent in the battle, so I'm assuming it was his lobby, and they could do what they want. That's the assumption I'm going to go with. I'm not a huge fan of it. Basically, the biggest thing that it gives you is these Skiratai, which are a light spear infantry. They're basically like a Levi Thorough spear for Egypt. Very, a lot of javies, pretty light, pretty cheap. See how all the stuff's like Mercenary Cretans with a K instead of Cretan with a C? That's because it's the Heroes of Sparta DLC Sparta, not the Grand Campaign Sparta. Way back at the back, we got the Legatus, and what did they bring? A Royal Peltis General for Seleucid. Don't judge me in the rolling of the R's. I'm just going to do it. It's going to happen, and if you don't like it, that's what I got to say to you, okay? If you don't like it, it's probably because you just don't know how to roll your R's. So, neener, neener, neener. Sorry, that was kind of mean. Rome here has, I mean, he's still kind of fighting here, right? You got Rome and Seleucid set up around this tower. But once again, like I said, look at that. That tower's just shooting, shooting, shooting. But on the other side, they do not seem very interested in going in. We'll kind of look from the perspective of these lions here. What do we got coming in now? Looks like armored legionaries. No, it's Eagle cohort. The Eagle cohort running up the stairs. The Carly Axeman, not really a good counter. You know, typically you would want to see like a counter charge or something. They were kind of like circling around doing a do-si-do. Dancing? This is no time for dancing. We're at war. You can see, looks like, okay, so maybe it was armored legionaries, because now I see an armored legionary. So maybe it was, well, the Eagle cohort looks just like him, so whatever. But regardless, there is an armored legionary here. That's all we need to know. I'm a little surprised that the armored legionary isn't going to go over and, like, hit one of these units, especially there we go, the unit that's jabbing in the back. Quickly, they want to try and get another one of these guys down here. You can see from up top, Eastern Archers of Culus are shooting these armored legionaries in the back and actually getting some pretty good shots. But the Syrian Archers for Rome moving forward, and they've got a pretty juicy target right there. On the walls here, we've got thorax swords, 3 units of them taking on some Cartly axemen. Looks like 2 units of Cartlys. Now the Eagle cohort pulling off of the stairs. I think he was getting chewed up. Cartly axemen 144 out of 160. Eagle cohort 126 out of 160. 17 kills, 42 kills. Now I believe the 42 kills is not all on these guys, obviously. You remember that Hastati that came through the breach and got javied by the Cartly axemen. Armored legionaries turned back around. They're kind of in a tough spot right now because really either way they go, they are kind of a target to being shot in the back. So they basically are just going to have to pick a direction and go that way. They're also using formation attack, which if you've watched my channel or been playing the game for a while, kind of one of the #1 suggestions from the game or for the game is to turn off formation attack. It basically, doesn't allow your unit to fully get into combat. So really the only thing that's fighting is, that. I don't know if that drawing made sense to you guys, but I hope it did. Skittertai here with, he's still got javies. And Rome's just sitting there taking it. Got an Eagle cohort coming in. I believe this is on Ultra Funds, by the way. By all the Eagle cohorts and Armored Legionaries and Royal Peltis and all that jazz. Speaking of Royal Peltis, I kind of forgot about these guys over here. They got wasted. Probably by archers, like I suggested. Or it could have been the javies of the Skittertai. Sorry, I'm just kind of looking over here, seeing what's going on. Seleucid has put pressure here, which has kind of forced this unit out. But the thorax sword of Seleucid over on the other side actually pulling back a little bit. He might be worried about the Cretan archers, possibly. Cretan archers with 26 kills. 201 kills on this one. Because remember, he's been getting all of this stuff. All those shots have been been shot by this guy. 201 kills is pretty good. The fact of the matter is they are not going to be able to hold a heavy Rome like this for very long, especially not with Skirtai. They're only going to be able to hold for a finite amount of time before they have to give this up. Sorry, I was just getting a drink there real quick. Cartly Axeman. The Thorax Sword's still pretty healthy. And even healthier. So after the outside, what does this look like? So what you have is you have the path that basically splits in two here. One path leading to this stairway. Another path actually leading up here to this one. The third pathway is all the way over here. Up this. So typically what tends to happen is you'll get a push here with kind of a distraction push over here. Now back in the back, what do we have waiting? Lots and lots and lots of Royal Spartans. Now, I will say this is another thing, people who've been watching me for any realistic amount of time will tell you, I'm not a big fan of holding, especially mass amounts of your troops back like this. You know, there are plenty of opportunities that probably could have been used, and you couldn't because they're 10 miles away back at the keep, you know what I mean? Personally, just not a big fan. As you can see, though, it doesn't really matter at this point because the exterior defenses have fallen. Anything that basically was left has retreated. You know, you got a 50-kill Cretan archer coming up here. Are they just coming up to try and kite, or what are we thinking? I love they gave him the floppy hats. I'm just kind of waiting to see if these guys are actually going to shoot or what their plan is. Yep, right there at the Eagle Cohort. Eagle Cohort is not a huge fan of arrows. Most of the times, if you look at the flags, most units that have the triangular flag like this usually don't like arrows. The square flags like this usually are a little more resilient to it. Thorax Swords. They are beginning their advance. You can see the Royal Spartans have mobilized, getting ready to protect the gaps here. Now look at these Royal Spartans. I will say there is one thing that the DLC Sparta does much better, and that's they get the Corinthian helmets. All of them get the Corinthian helmets. Except for this guy who's got kind of like a weird transverse crest helmet that's a little wonky looking. But Corinthian helmet is superior to any other helmet. Just saying. The Corinthian helmet, I honestly think, might be maybe the most iconic helmet design, like in armor, you know what I mean? There's a lot of pretty iconic ones, you know, the Roman, oh god, it's sitting on the tip of my tongue. Somebody in the comment section will tell me. Let's see. Basically the helmet that like the armored legionaries are wearing, that its name just escapes me. That one right there. That would, I would say, be another one of the iconic ones. Obviously, you have like your knights' helmets. You know what I mean? The helms of knights. These Eastern archers look like they have ammo. Well, maybe not. This one does. That's why he's trying to run it away. Cretan archers. So I think this is the archer that was kind of like kiting them over here. Now, interestingly, Culus has a bunch of stuff over here. In fact, like a ton of stuff. let's see, 1 Colchian Noble, 2, 3 Colchian Nobles. He's got a Colchian Noble over here. I'm wondering, like, why he had these units over. Maybe he didn't realize. I think he doesn't realize that this is the cap point. He thinks that this is the cap point, and it isn't. I bet you that's what it is. And he's either realizing right now, or he still thinks so. I'm not really sure why this Colchian Noble is going over this way when this Colchian Noble went over this way. In fact, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't really know what Culus is doing as a whole here. He's sending Colchian Nobles and Cartly Axemen down this street here. And he seems to be... Yeah, I don't know what the plan is. It's almost like he wants to guard these 2 streets. This is a terrible place to fight. That is a place you really don't want to fight. And oh no. Oh boy. Oh boy. This Colchian Noble is so screwed. Just watching the fight a little bit here. Got your Balearic Slingers slipping on by. Eco Cohort. What they probably want to do just to finish this, get a unit, put it behind it, and finish it off. The other Colchian Nobles actually come around the back like this. So they're sending their Eagle Cohort to go kind of, I think, keep it busy. While the other Eagle Cohort, I think, is what's going to come behind. The Culus doing the same thing as what I said with Rome, using that formation attack. That's why you could see, like, over here, this side of the unit is not, like, curling in to fight. This Eagle Cohort's not going to be able to take on this Colchian Noble by himself. But with the archer support behind, they might be able to do some really good damage to it. On the front lines of the keep here, the Royal Spartans taking on a pretty depleted Thorax Sword. Royal Spartans with 88 kills already. I think Rome still has some stuff back here as well. Eagle Cohorts, a lot of Eagle Cohorts. Praetorian Guards that he's got in Testudo. So you can see the Colchian Noble did, I mean, he didn't really break. It looked like he just kind of walked away. But the Syrian archers who were out of ammo charging in, it's just not, I think they're just trying to keep now the backs turned over here so that the Balearic Slingers could shoot at him in the back again. Kind of like what they were doing from this side. But now with the Eagle Cohort in combat, I don't think that's what you want to do. There you go. Pull him out of there. Well, I didn't see any kills in that volley. There they are. Let's see, Colchian Noble, 76 out of 160. And the Eagle Cohort just chewing them up. Culus, I hate to say it, man, I don't understand the thought process there. Those are some really good units that would do really well in a really they would do very well in a very defensive position, kind of like what you have in this, you know, tough nut to crack type fortress, you know. Colchian Noble, they did break and shatter it. 55 kills. Baleric's now with 197 kills. One of the Colchian Nobles about to break here as well. He's exhausted. That doesn't help him at all. Just waiting to see And then I'm assuming they will go wrap around and hit the back of this one. The more you can kill these, you know, stranded units, the better. So, like, legitimately, that's like almost 3,000 gold worth of units, like, wasted. Because there were, what? You had 1, 2, 3. I think they're like 970 apiece. And wasn't there a fourth one that came down here somewhere and got obliterated? Yep, right here. So that's 4 units at like 980 apiece. And now his general's going out. Oh man, what are we doing here, Culus? This is not suggested. If anybody wants to know things I would suggest not to do, it's exactly what Culus has done. Oof. And you know, the crazy thing is, Colchian nobles are not a bad unit. For their price, they're actually really good. And here's another, oh, this is a Carly Axeman. But still, you know, it's another unit that could be used back here at the defense that is probably going to die now. Like, the only thing I can think is that they honestly think this is the cap point. It's the only reason I could think this, you know, but this is the cap point on Cyrene. Wouldn't it be? I feel like at game launch that this was probably the actual cap point. I know they had to, after launch of Rome 2, they had to do some adjustments on some maps because they were too defender favored because they were in places like this. Could you imagine the cap point being up here? Not only do you have to get through the tough outer shell of the keep, you then have to walk down a singular tiny road uphill to get to the cap point. That would be disgusting. And by the way, the Colchian general is now officially cut off. The nobles still take, so they're taking on the Thorax now, but once again, you got your Balearic set up behind them, shooting them in the back. To be honest with you, I think it's a little bit of a waste of ammunition that you might want to save for up here. You know, using your Royal Peltis and such would probably be the better option. They are broken now, though, so it doesn't matter. 75 kills on the Colchian nobles. I have no idea what this guy's doing. I wonder, like, the other thing that it could be, maybe he dropped. The gentleman who's, or the person who sent it in never said anything about them, about anybody dropping, but what just happened right there is actually a pretty good indicator of it. A lot of times when people drop, the AI does this weird thing where it runs its men way off somewhere, and they stop, and then they turn around and go back and do other stuff. And a lot of times on a map like this, it's usually to a beach. Why? I don't know. AI is weird. So I wonder if that could also be the reason of the AI, of somebody dropping and an AI just being really dumb. I kind of want that to be more the case. Even though I will be straight up honest with you, I'm not usually a big fan of battles where people drop in them. I think that there are cases where it can be kind of cool and fun that, oh, look, somebody dropped, but look, this person still won, or something or other, right? But 9 times out of 10, I find when somebody drops, that battle's not super awesome. Here's that formation attack. Here's the formation attack really working against him. He's in a tiny little column. So like 80% of his unit is back here not doing anything. So the only thing was fighting was that tiny little spot right there. So all you had to do was spread your unit out, fight, and turn on formation attack. There's a little button that says formation attack. Just click it. Noble Blood Cavalry coming now. A little surprised it actually took them this long to get this cavalry going. You know, it's going to be not super useful in this tight upper keep, but it could be relatively useful outside, out here. It's a pretty big open city. You know, especially, like, I could see them bringing the cavalry out the gate, coming around, you know, back into the city outside, you know, maybe even possibly sniping a Legatus. I doubt it would happen, but, like, you know, I've seen crazier things happen. But realistically, by having two cavalry out here, now the attackers have to be conscientious of their backs, right? They have to attack while watching back here. So that could be beneficial to them. They did bring it out. Well, the Noble Blood Cavalry, at least. They still have, I think it's a Hippeus Lancer back there at the gate. Not particularly sure. If anybody in this battle is watching, let me know. I am 99% positive that Culus dropped. I'm curious when he dropped, because it is curious that it's only in the last like 5 minutes that these units started running over here. Now, usually it's like literally their entire army. You'll literally just see the entire army of who dropped just start walking in a direction. Not singular units like this, but it's also not, I've seen crazier things, you know. Like I said, if anybody's watching the game, watching the battle, let me know what the hell's going on in this battle. Eagle Cohort, 192 kills. This one's pretty fresh. Unfortunately, you can see they are just kind of getting shot up by this tower. You also have the Rhodian Slingers up on the wall. 144 kills on them. Silver Shield Swordsmen. So they are attacking frontal here. And not quite doing anything over here yet. They came over, capped the gate. Not sure why, but they did. I do think it'd be cool if this was a possible entrance here. Even if it was like a gate or something that you could burn down or something like that. I think that'd be kind of cool. Otherwise, I kind of question like the point of having this little path going all the way up. Royal Spartans holding their ground. We have Praetorians versus Royal Spartans. It's about as like epic of a matchup as you could ask for. They're like those like random Cartley Axemen like mixed in. You're ruining our group. They're not even they're Hillmen of Seleucid. You know, really cheap, shitty units. Cretan Archers, 121 kills. You can see some March Fire coming in from Rome. 101 and 84 on his Syrians. And as you can see, another Royal Spartan getting ready to join the fray here. Rome in here with some Eagle cohorts. Got, I think, 2 units of them here. Royal Peltis with 17 kills. And, you know, the Syrians don't have a terrible shot here. You know, because they have this kind of upper area, they are, like, decently exposed to the arrows. Praetorian Guard just leading the way. This one, 15 kills and only 41 men. Jeez. 29 kills, 101 men left. Then over on the right here, we got Royal Peltis going to charge in on some Royal Spartans. Actually, they're going to Javy him first. That's probably a better idea. I don't know what he's doing now. Really not getting great Javy tosses there. He's only got 6 kills from 2 volleys. Now like 2.5 volleys. You can see it's getting some kills here, but this is going to be a tough one. Royal Spartans on an like a higher elevated defensive position. Royal Peltis don't get a charge. They don't have a great charge, but majority of the times in this game, you want to get a counter charge. There are some instances and some troops where it's probably better to stand your ground. Troops like Royal Spartans with expert charge defense. You stand and you take the charge because it's going to hurt them more. But most, especially like sword units, you want to lead the charge. The Noble Blood Cavalry actually getting into, thankfully, some out of ammo Syrian archers here from Rome. Noble Blood Cavalry, 37 out of 80. Looks like he's just running around being a nuisance. Now we got some Silver Shield swordsmen over here. Hippeus Lancers charging downhill, but straight into the back of their own men, the Royal Spartans, ruining their formation. That's rough. We got Use the Whip by the Praetorian God. And now the Royal Spartan General coming to kind of beef this up a little bit. Now look at this. Colchian Noble General actually set up in position, which is good to see. 170 kills on the Royal Spartans. Praetorians still, you know, not so hot. A little disappointing for Praetorians, but they are going at a pretty tough defense here. You're probably starting to see the reasoning as to why Cyrene is not a map that most people want to play. Praetorian Guard breaking? Never hath my eyes seen such a heinous act. Royal Peltis, 126 kills. The Royal Spartans on this side actually kind of pushing back on the enemy here. Look at this. Forcing them down. I wonder if that charge earlier on from the Hippeus Lancer may have helped. Hippeus Lancer in diamond formation. Just a suggestion to anybody watching the video. Diamond formation is completely and totally useless. Don't use it. It's just not a very good ability. Not a very good ability, I tell ya. Royal Peltis with 49 kills, but he's already pretty beat up. 54 men left. Eagle Cohort, 14 men left. Praetorian Guard, 39 men. This is not looking good. Silver Shield Swords may need to look at getting in here, especially now that they're getting shot. You know, the things on the wall can't get a shot this way. It's stupid archers. They have 0 kills, by the way. You know, you could come up and shoot the Hippeus Lancers. You could shoot the Royal Spartan General. You could basically come up and shoot anything you want. If you didn't know, charging into the back of your own men does not help you. If you didn't know, now you do. 291 kills with 3 chevrons on the Rhodian Slingers. So basically a 3-to-1 ratio for, 100 kills to 1 chevron. Or it'd be a 1-to-1, excuse me. Which is good. That's a signal of a pretty good, not only are you getting kills, but they're also decent quality kills. If you have 200 kills in 1 chevron, basically means that what you killed was pretty cheap, because the first chevron that you get is worth about 500 gold. So when you kill 500 gold worth of something, you get a chevron. So it's easier on higher targets. So, a Royal Spartan or a Royal Peltist or, a Silver Shield Swordsman, it's easier to get a chevron by killing those guys. If you're going up against, like, Skiratai or Hillmen, it's going to take, like, 400 kills to get a chevron. 400 might be an exaggeration, but that's fine. It's probably not that big of an exaggeration, actually. And as you can see, we got a counterattack happening now. I think this game is GG. I don't see the attackers having near enough left to be able to break through these Royal Spartans. They put a concerted effort into this gate here, and I think it is actually the closest they came to getting through, which, as you can see, was not that close. This side over here was pretty much locked down, and then this side over here was pretty much locked down. These guys, if they wanted to, they could send another unit over here to help and just, basically mop this up. You can see the Roman generals actually come in. You can see the Royal Peltist General Seleucid about to break. That's army losses hitting. Wavering. With those archers shooting, it may not take very long. So he's broken. Can they shatter him? They may not be able to shatter him, so he might come back and extend this a little longer. Now the cavalry is out. So I think we're just playing cleanup now. To be honest with you, I'm not sure what's left. So it looks like a couple of these units that are broken but not shattered. Hippeus Lancers are exhausted. They're going to come try and finish these guys. Might as well just go shatter him. Okay, he's shattered. That was easy. I think we're going to go ahead and hit fast forward here. I think it's plain to see that this game is over. The outer defense is not looking so hot, but man, that fortress is tough to crack. Charge them! Charge them! And he takes a jabby toss instead of charging. Use the whip. But as you can see, it's just waiting. It's just waiting. The general broken, but still technically here. They could use another cab over here to help finish this guy off. But that is it. Let's go ahead and look at some kills here. We've got Didster of Sparta, 2,846 kills. All of his range doing extremely well. Look at all those chevrons. And then Royal Spartans carrying the day. Skiratai actually not doing too bad. Rumham as Culus with 1026. Honestly, I think he dropped. I want to know. I want to know. Harry Hawkes, Luca 1216. Not a hot day for Seleucid here. Royal Peltis really just not doing very much. They usually do. Yeah, just not a hot day. And finally, as Rome, we have T. Maywald, 2543, second most kills in the game. It is Rome. Just keep that in mind. Infantry, as usual, doing very, very well. It's Rome, as it should. Praetorian's not doing so hot. But that is going to be it for today's battle. Thank you guys so much for joining. Don't forget that if you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. We'll see you guys next time.